Okay, so we've looked at proportions and we've looked at unit rates yesterday in this unit. And today we're going to talk about percentages. A lot of times you guys experience percentages when you're calculating something on a test. And to think about that, what we're going to do is actually do a percentage on a test. So if you're just given back a quiz and you receive a mark of 12 out of 15, what percent did you get on the test? I'm always keeping in mind for those level 4 or 5 questions or 4 or 5 star questions, you really do need to get into the habit of making sure you show all of your work. In order to do this, you would take the 12, and this line here means divide. So you're going to go 12 divided by 15. And that's going to give you some small decimal. And then you're going to multiply by 100. Okay? So you calculate the decimal. And then multiply that by 100. And that will allow you to see that what your percentage is. So 12 divided by 15 is 0.8 times 100 makes it 80. And that's a percent. Okay? What we need to recognize is and connect this to what we were talking about the other day with proportions. You're taking the part that you got and dividing it by the whole. And so the 15 in this question represents the total marks available. Okay, so when you're calculating percent, it has to be the part divided by the whole times 100 equals your percent. Okay. For the next question, if I am going too fast, just pause the video so you can copy down any notes that you need to copy down. For the next question, the OSPCA has 13 cats and 12 dogs at the moment. What percentage of the animals are cats? So we need the part divided by the whole, remember. Okay, well, we're talking about cats. So I know there's 13 cats. How many animals are there total? 13 cats and 12 dogs. So the whole is going to be 13 plus 12. So we have now 13 on the top. 13 plus 12 is 25. Now we have our fraction, 13 divided by 25, and then we'll multiply that by 100. 13 divided by 25 is 0.52 times 100 is 52. Next question. A zoo has 900 animals. If 550 of them are mammals, what percent of the animals are not mammals? Well, so this one here, we know that 550 are mammals. There's 900 total. So we have to think, well, what is the difference? What's left over? And when we're thinking about difference and leftovers, we should recognize that that's a subtraction question. So not mammals we have 900 minus 550. 900 minus 550 is 350. Okay, so we have not mammals, we'll have the part, which is 350. I can write that over here again. Remember, part divided by whole. 350 divided by 900 animals total times 100. 350 divided by 900 times 100 is going to give us 39%. Okay, now there's another way you could have done that as well. You could have said, well, I know that there are 550 animals that are mammals, and if I figure out what that percentage is, I could subtract it from 100 to get the non-mammals. So let's look at what that would look like. We would go 550 divided by 900 times 100, and that ends up being 61% mammals. Well, there's 100% of the animals, so that's mammals and non-mammals combined, makes all of the animals, minus the 61% is equal to 39% non-mammals. Either way is good. I don't care which way you choose to do that. Just make sure you're rounding appropriately. Okay? In the zoo, 30% of the animals are herbivores. How many animals are herbivores? Okay, so this is a little bit different. Up until this point, we knew the part, we knew the whole, and now we know the answer is 30%. So we're going to have to work backwards a little bit. Let's just go way up here for a second. And I'm going to take this question here. And I'm going to say, well, what if I didn't know my mark? So what if I didn't know that I had 12? I'm going to put an X here. I didn't know I had 12. 12 divided by 15 times 100 gave me 80%, right? What I can do is I can isolate and move things across, and we did this in unit, outcome 2, cycle 1. Sorry, my dog's just here, gonna try to bite me for a second. And when we're trying to isolate a variable, we move things across the equal sign by doing the opposite operation. So we would divide by 100 on both sides, and that would give us, cancel that out, x divided by 15 is left, equals 0.8. And then we're doing the opposite of divide by 15. So I'm going to multiply by 15, multiply by 15. Sorry, I ran out of space. So now I have x equals 0.8 times 15, and that would be 12. Okay, so if I don't know what the part is, or I don't know what the whole is, I can do the opposite operation to, sorry, that should be 100 there, the opposite operation to isolate that. And that's really what we're doing here, okay? So if I want to know what 30% of those 900 animals is, I'm going to take the percent and I'm going to divide by 100, and then I'm going to multiply it by 900, okay? If that's a bit confusing to you, go back in the video and just check out the reasons why I'm dividing by 100 and multiplying by the whole. When I do 30 divided by 100 times 900, I end up with 270 herbivores. So in consolidation, how do you calculate a percent when you know the total number of things? For example, 28 out of 30 marks on a test. You take the top divided by the bottom times 100. In other words, the part divided by the whole times 100. How do you calculate the percent when you know the value of the different parts? Okay. You take the part divided by 100, or divided by the total times 100. That's the same as above. Anyway, but you need to know the total. So basically that's just saying this. Last but not least, how do you calculate the number of things if you know the percent of and the total? So what this is really asking is, how do you find the percent of a number, right? So if I want to know what's the percent of something, what you do is you take that percent that you know, you divide it by 100, and then multiply it by the total, or the whole amount. Okay, example of this happening on the other page as well is this. The other scenario that you might have with percents is you might have percents of sales and markups. So here's some terminology that you need to know. A discount is the amount of money taken off the original price. Taken off, that's subtraction, right? We're subtracting. Sale price is the price of the item when it's on sale. So that's the price after the discount. Don't worry, that's just my dogs. Markup is the amount of money a company increases the price of an item. Increases. So that means it's rising. So, and then a brand of new, so here's an example. A brand of new iPhones costs $1,200. How much tax will you pay in Ontario? In Ontario, HST is 13%. So this is a scenario of, it's not really a markup, but we are going to be increasing what we actually pay. There's a couple ways to do this. I'll just kind of break it down so that it's applicable to a bunch of different scenarios and not just tax. But if we want to know, what we're going to do is, this is our subtotal. You may have seen that on receipts, or maybe you know what that means. Subtotal is the price before tax. What we're going to do is we're going to calculate the tax, and then we're going to get the total. So the tax, all that is what's 13% of 1,200. Okay, so that's this question up here. What's 13% of 1,200? So we take 13, divide it by 100, and times it by 1,200. And when we do that, we end up with $156. The total, that's just your subtotal plus tax. So 1,200 plus 156. And that's going to be 1,356. Okay, so that's one way you can do it, and that's pretty applicable to what we had just learned, right? You take the percent of a number and then just simple addition of the two. If you wanted to go a little bit quicker though, if you were to multiply your subtotal by 1, it stays there, right? So if you multiply your subtotal by 1, it doesn't change. If you multiply your subtotal by 1.13, so this 0.13 comes in here, what's going to happen is the 1's going to hold the 1,200, and the 0.13 is going to find that 156 for you. Okay, so there's 1,356 is your answer. Either way, whatever makes most sense to you, that's what you're going to do. Okay. Let's just look at a discount here and a markup. Samantha finds some new jeans which cost $64.99. the jeans have a discount of 20% of the price. What's the total cost, including tax? Okay, so first of all, let's find out what is that discount. So what's the discount? We're going to take the original price. So basically what I'm going to write, I want 20% of $64.99, right? 20% of that. So the discount is going to be my percent divided by 100 times $64.99. And that ends up being $13. Now remember, a discount is taken off, right? We're losing that money. So I'm going to figure out, well, what's the sale price now? The sale price, we know it's $64.99 originally, minus this $13 discount, and that ends up being $51.99.